Have you ever thought that small, seemingly harmless seeds could become silent killers in your own kitchen? We often believe that nature always favors humans, giving us good gifts to help us become healthier and live longer. But sometimes those gifts contain unexpected dangers. Let me tell you a true story. In Australia, there was a middle-aged man who, with the desire to improve his health, listened to advice online about eating apricot kernels. People told him that it contained vitamin B17, which could help prevent cancer, help the body purify, and stay young. Believing he regularly ate a few apricot kernels every day, but after a short time he felt dizzy, nauseous, had difficulty breathing, and had to be rushed to the hospital. Doctors diagnosed him with cyanide poisoning, a deadly poison released from those tiny apricot kernels. This story is not unique. There have been many recorded cases in the world where people, due to ignorance, have accidentally put poison into their bodies. What's even scarier is that most of the victims believe they are doing something good for their health. For many elderly people, especially in the US, eating nuts has almost become a habit. They eat nuts to fight hunger, to supplement energy, to stay in shape, or simply because they think eating nuts is healthier than eating cakes or fried foods. But the harsh truth is not all nuts are good. There are nuts that, if used incorrectly or eaten, can kill people in just a few hours. It is worth mentioning that many of these dangerous nuts are not unfamiliar. They can be found in sweet apples, in red cherries, or in plants that nature has grown for generations. They hide behind hard shells, silently waiting until they are accidentally chewed or crushed. Then the poison is released. And then the consequences are unpredictable. This video will explore with you 5 extremely dangerous seeds that science has proven. You will clearly see that nature is not only a kind mother, but also a strict teacher, sometimes giving us lessons at a very high price. But along with that truth, I also want to send you a life message. As long as we know how to select, listen, and understand clearly, we can both enjoy the gifts of nature and protect ourselves and our loved ones. Why do many of us always believe that everything nature gives is good? Perhaps because from childhood we have been taught that plants, flowers, and grains are the source of life for humans. We forget that in the same green forest with sweet fruits and flowers, there are also plants that can kill a human with just a few small seeds. Nature is the source of life, but at the same time, it is a treasure trove of countless poisons. That is the truth that science has reminded us many times. The human body is inherently fragile, and just a small amount of cyanide or strychnine, the poisons found in some seeds, is enough to knock us out. The World Health Organization, WHO, has repeatedly warned about the toxicity of cyanide, one of the most powerful poisons ever known. It can prevent cells from absorbing oxygen, causing the body to suffocate from the inside. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has also issued many strict warnings, especially with functional food products made from apricot kernels, which were once widely advertised as natural cancer fighters. In fact, instead of curing diseases, these products have caused many people to be hospitalized, even some to die. In the U.S., there was a time when bitter apricot kernels and products extracted from them were widely sold. They were hailed as miracle drugs, but the result was increased poisoning rates, forcing the FDA to intervene and ban their sale. This is a clear example of the fact that not everything natural is safe. So why are we so prone to making mistakes? Because humans tend to look for simple solutions to complex problems. Cancer is a terrible disease, and when we hear that a natural seed can cure it, we want to believe it immediately. That hope makes us ignore the necessary caution, and that gullibility becomes a double-edged sword. The question is, can we live healthy without knowing? The answer is no. Knowledge is the shield that protects us from danger. When we know that apple seeds contain amygdalin, We are more careful when making juice. When we know that cherry seeds can release cyanide, we remind our children not to chew the seeds when eating fruit. And when we know about extremely poisonous seeds like suicide tree or Nux-vomica, we will avoid them on our travels, not curious or experimenting. We cannot change the fact that nature has both good and bad sides, but we can change the way we face that truth by accepting understanding and choosing wisely. This understanding will help you not only live longer, but also live a more peaceful life, not dominated by rumors or blind faith. And that is what I want to leave you with before we dive into the next part, discovering each toxic nut that you need to know to protect yourself and your family. 1. Apricot kernel. For decades, apricot kernels have been hailed by some as a miracle drug called vitamin B17, with the promise of being able to prevent or even cure cancer. In many health food stores in the US and Europe, these tiny seeds were openly sold, accompanied by hopeful advertisements for patients who were desperate for a miracle. But the truth is quite the opposite. What many people think is a tonic is actually a deadly poison. Inside the apricot kernel contains amygdalin, a compound that when entering the body is converted into hydrogen cyanide, one of the most powerful poisons ever known. Cyanide prevents cells from using oxygen, causing the body to fall into a state of suffocation from the inside. Just a small amount is enough to cause headaches, dizziness, nausea, even convulsions and death if not treated promptly. According to a report by the UK Food Standards Agency, FSA, eating just about 3 bitter apricot kernels is enough for an adult to exceed the safe threshold of cyanide. For young children, just 1 kernel can be dangerous. This has been clearly proven by science, no longer just a rumor. In fact, there have been many cases of cyanide poisoning from apricot kernels. A famous case in Australia, a middle-aged man, in the hope of preventing cancer, regularly ate about 2 apricot kernels every day. After a short time, he felt nauseous, had difficulty breathing, and had to be hospitalized. Tests showed that the cyanide concentration in his blood was many times higher than the permitted level. In the US, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, had to intervene, banning the sale of products containing apricot kernels as a dietary supplement because of the deadly risks it caused. Sadly, many people still believe in vitamin B17, a concept that does not exist in medicine. They think that if something comes from nature, it must be healthy and safe, but nature is not always gentle. Sometimes it challenges us with sweet traps, and apricot kernels are a typical example. The advice for you and your family is absolutely do not use apricot kernels as a dietary supplement. If you accidentally eat a small amount, the body can usually eliminate it, but repeated eating, even just a few seeds a day, can lead to cyanide accumulation and cause unpredictable consequences. Wisdom lies in the ability to distinguish between medicine and poison. Not everything that is advertised as natural is good. Alertness, understanding, and the right choice are the real medicine to protect our health and longevity. 2. Apple seeds. Apples have long been a symbol of health and freshness. Americans often say, "Eat an apple a day and you will not need to see a doctor." But few people notice that inside that sweet, crunchy apple, there are tiny seeds containing cyanide poison, which can be harmful to the body if eaten incorrectly. Apple seeds also contain amygdalin, like apricot kernels. When chewed or crushed, amygdalin will release cyanide. This means that if you accidentally swallow a few whole apple seeds, they will usually pass through your digestive system without causing any harm. But if you chew or crush the seeds, cyanide is released and can cause poisoning, especially if there are a lot of them. According to Medical News Today, accidentally swallowing a few whole apple seeds is not a serious problem. However, eating a lot of seeds, especially if they have been chewed or crushed, can lead to poisoning symptoms such as headaches, dizziness, anxiety, nausea, and difficulty breathing. A worrying fact is that many people have the habit of juicing apples without removing the seeds. When the juicer crushes the seeds, the cyanide can dissolve in the juice and go straight into the body. For the elderly, the immune system and detoxification function are weakened. The risk of poisoning is even higher. In the US, there have been medical reports of stomach upset and headaches after drinking apple juice made from whole apples, including the seeds. This reminds us that even familiar fruits, which seem to be absolutely safe, still have hidden corners that need to be noted. Small habits such as removing seeds before juicing or carefully telling children not to chew apple seeds can help avoid unnecessary risks. Advice for you: always remove apple seeds when juicing or cooking. Eating whole apples is good for your health, but the seeds are not for human consumption. This is a small detail, but it can make a big difference to the long-term health of you and your family. Small mistakes can also lead to big prices. We do not need to worry or be afraid when eating apples, but we need to be wise enough to know which part is for life and which part is for nature to keep. 3. Cherry seeds. When mentioning cherries, many people immediately think of a sweet, luxurious, and nutritious fruit. Cherries often appear on the party table in delicate desserts or are seen as a symbol of youth and happiness. But hidden behind that brilliant appearance is a potential danger that not everyone knows. Cherry seeds contain cyanide poison. Like apple and apricot seeds, cherry seeds contain amygdalin, which, when crushed or chewed, releases prussic acid or hydrogen cyanide. This toxin can cause dizziness, nausea, shortness of breath, and in severe cases, seizures, coma, and even death. The most dangerous thing is that many people often ignore the seeds when eating cherries or think that chewing the seeds is harmless. According to the CDC Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there have been several cases of cyanide poisoning associated with eating or drinking smoothies containing crushed cherry seeds. These cases show that even a moderate amount of seeds, when broken, is enough to cause serious poisoning symptoms. A common bad habit, especially among young children, is to bite or chew cherry seeds out of curiosity. Children are often unaware of the dangers, and even a single broken seed can release toxins that exceed the tolerance of their immature bodies. This makes parents need to pay close attention. Do not let children play with cherry seeds, and absolutely do not blend whole fruit smoothies without removing the seeds. For the elderly who already have weaker resistance, accidentally consuming cyanide from cherry seeds can increase the risk of respiratory and cardiovascular disorders and aggravate existing underlying diseases. That is why, when enjoying this sweet fruit, you need to clearly understand which part is for health and which part should be discarded. The advice for you and your family is very clear: absolutely. Do not chew cherry seeds, do not crush the seeds when blending smoothies, and tell young children to stay away from playing with the seeds. With just a small act of caution, you have eliminated a big risk. Don't let the sweet appearance hide the danger inside. Cherries are delicious, but their seeds are proof that not everything that is beautiful on the outside is safe on the inside. 4. Suicide tree seeds. Perhaps of all the dangerous seeds we've talked about today, the suicide tree Cerbera odolum has the most chilling name: the suicide tree. In India and some parts of Southeast Asia, this name is not just a sensational name, but a fact proven through a series of mysterious deaths over the decades. This tree looks quite normal on the outside, with round green fruits similar to small mangoes. But inside that shell is a seed containing cerberin, a substance in the cardiac glycoside group, a poison that can directly affect the heart's activity. When cerberin enters the body, it can disrupt the heart's rhythm, lower blood pressure, and lead to cardiac arrest in a short time. What is even more frightening is that there are no obvious warning signs. A person may feel nauseous, dizzy, then quickly lose consciousness and die before receiving emergency care. Therefore, the seeds of the suicide tree have been called one of the most poisonous seeds in the world by many scientific documents. According to an article published in Time magazine in 2024, the Cerbera odolum tree has been linked to hundreds of deaths in southern India, especially the state of Kerala. Many murders and suicides have been linked to this seed, making it a subject of research, not only by scientists, but also by forensics and criminology. Scientists have shown that cerberine has the ability to kill people silently, very difficult to detect through conventional testing, making it once called the perfect weapon in many mysterious cases. For Americans or older people in the West, this plant may not be common in daily life, but that does not mean we can ignore it. When traveling to India or tropical Asia, accidentally coming into contact with or trying to eat seeds from strange plants can lead to unpredictable consequences. Knowledge is the first line of defense. The thing to remember is never try to eat strange seeds or fruits when traveling, even if a local person insists that they are still edible. In many cultures, Cerbera odolum has long been known and feared, but for tourists, it is like a sweet trap. We cannot control the dangers that nature sows, but we can control our own alertness and caution, and that more than any amulet will help us protect ourselves and our loved ones on our journey through life. 5. Nux-vomica Seeds. In ancient medical history, there was a type of seed that was used as a mysterious medicine, which was the Nux-vomica seed, also known as the strychnine seed. People believed that they could stimulate the nervous system, help alertness, and increase vitality. In India, China, and many Asian countries, strychnine seeds appeared in some traditional medicines, but over time, modern science has proven a harsh truth. This seed is not a panacea, but a deadly poison. Nux-vomica seeds contain two dangerous compounds, strychnine and brucine. These are both extremely strong neurotoxins. Strychnine in particular has long been known as a classic poison in human history. Just a small amount is enough to cause severe convulsions, body stiffness, difficulty breathing, and lead to death within a few hours. The scary thing about strychnine is that it has no safety threshold for humans. According to the World Health Organization (WHO), this is a poison that only requires a very small amount to cause harm, and there is no acceptable dose in food or medicine. That is, strychnine seeds should not appear in any product that is used directly by humans. The mechanism of strychnine's toxicity is terrifying. It directly affects the central nervous system, blocking the activity of nerve inhibitors, causing muscles to spasm uncontrollably. People who are poisoned often experience convulsions so severe that their bones can break, their skin turns purple due to lack of oxygen, and they die in pain. Despite many warnings, some places still circulate the use of strychnine seeds in extremely small doses in traditional medicine. But the truth is the line between medicinal and toxic doses here is too fragile. Just a very small deviation is enough to turn it into a killer. That is why Nux-vomica seeds have been completely banned in modern medicine in the United States and many other countries. The advice for you is clear: absolutely do not use Nux-vomica seeds in any form, whether as food, medicine, or traditional tonic. If you have ever heard someone advertise the health-enhancing effects of this seed, remember that science has proven otherwise. Not everything that nature gives is a gift to humans. Nature gives us sweet fruit sources of nutrition, but at the same time sows poisonous seeds. Wisdom and awareness are what help us know how to distinguish, to preserve life. We have just gone through a journey full of surprises about 5 extremely poisonous seeds that few people expect. First is apricot kernels, once advertised as vitamin B17, but actually contain deadly cyanide. Next is apple seeds, seemingly harmless, but potentially dangerous if chewed. Then there are cherry pits, sweet on the outside, but containing dangerous prussic acid. More specifically, we also know about the suicide tree seeds, which have claimed hundreds of lives in India. And finally, the Nux-vomica seeds with strychnine poison that has forced the WHO to affirm there is no safe threshold for humans. These seeds remind us of an undeniable truth. Nature not only gives life, but also death. The important thing is not to run away from nature, but to learn to understand and distinguish. Knowledge will be the compass that guides us, helping us enjoy the good things and stay away from the dangerous things. I want to send you a sincere message. Be alert to the advertisements of miracle drugs that have not been scientifically proven. Do not let blind faith become the reason for your health and longevity to be traded. Because sometimes the price to pay is not only money, but also life. Life is not prolonged by fear, but by awareness and understanding. It is that awareness that will help you and your loved ones live healthier, safer, and more peaceful every day. If you find this video useful, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. That not only motivates me to bring you more valuable knowledge, but also helps you not miss important content about health and life. And if you think this information can help someone, a friend, a relative, or anyone in the community, please share this video. Because sometimes a small act like sharing knowledge can become a lifeline, helping someone avoid danger. Knowledge not only protects you, but can also save the life of someone you love. Let's spread this truth and awareness to more people.